begin the City of Rollingwood Utility Commission meeting for Tuesday, October 7th, and we will begin with roll call starting on my left.
Chris Kirksey.
Clark Wilson.
Jonathan Miller.
Sam Attell.
Elizabeth Bray.
Roll call is complete. Moving on to public comments. I don't know if anyone signed up for any public comments.
No public comments.
No public comments. Perfect. Moving on to the consent agenda. The item is discussion and possible action on the minutes from the April 1st, 2025 Utility Commission meeting. Those minutes were in the packet, and we just need a motion to approve them.
Motion to approve. Move to approve the minutes of April meeting.
Second.
We have a motion and second. All in favor of
Aye.
approving the minutes? Aye. Ayes have it. Moving on to the regular agenda. Discussion and possible action on a utility bill appeal for 104 Christie Drive. And I know that there is a lot of information in the packet.
Yeah.
Lots of pages. And I know that there's a bit of history here.
Yes.
And so the first thing I want to do is to revisit what we can do at Utility Commission around a water appeal. And a lot of this has evolved over time, a lot of it because now we're on digital metering. Before digital metering, we had certain ways that we were adjusting things. We've had several revisions to policy about the appeals process and timing. All of that seems to be an exception to all of that, since we've kind of put in place that we only go back several months, and we try to say within certain months you need to come in and do it, all in the hopes of saying, hey, we're not dealing with the situation that we're dealing with today, which is we're looking back about a year and trying to figure out kind of what happened, what occurred, and what's the right process moving forward, right? So if I recall, forgetting the time frames aside, because if we adhered to those, we would just say you're out of the time frames that we've currently approved, and which is within the last 3 months. Is that
6 months.
6 months? So,
Yeah.
so now we're kind of beyond that, but it still was sent to the Utility Commission, I presume, by City Council to take a look at this, or is it just because there was okay. So this is going back a long ways, and there's some extenuating circumstances around why this has taken so long. So if we suspend the time frame for a moment, then we still need to go back to what we can actually do as a commission with regard to an appeal. And so usually I would just say, just tell us the code so that I don't have to remember it. But generally we can decide what extent of time we're going to review if there's a leak, or whatever is the issue with the water appeal, and then we have an ability to make a adjustment to the bill based on wholesale pricing plus some amount of administrative cost associated with that. Generally, it's a 10% on top of the wholesale pricing. But at the end of the day, this commission always recognizes that water was used and water needs to be paid for, but you don't necessarily, if there's a leak, need to pay for all the tiered pricing and all the which is determined to try to keep people to use less water. So we just say, hey, here's the wholesale rate, and we cover it, and that's kind of the way we go forward. So this goes back to October, November, and December of 2024 with an adjustment that was made in January of 2024, a partial adjustment. And now I understand we're looking at the remaining amount of that bill. So if there's any, if you're welcome to stand up and make your presentation
I
to the.
can say a couple things that I think will be helpful. There were 2 appeals. So one I submitted in maybe November, December, and that was for months of say July. I forget exactly, but so summer months up to I found a leak in our irrigation system in October, so we fixed it and then submitted an appeal. There was and that was our fault, right?
Okay.
That was a leak inside. Well, just a clear deal was in our irrigation system. That didn't get cleared up. I don't know why it took a while, but we submitted the appeal, and we didn't hear any response from that until maybe it was June. But anyway, the second appeal is really all I'm here to talk about today.
Okay.
So we got a $15,000 something bill on January 31st for the dates, December 23 through, December 23 of 24 through January 23rd of 2025. So whereas I said that the first one was just clearly our fault, was up on our property, this one was different, and I brought some, at least we contend it's different. So as you know, a lot of construction was done, running new lines to new meters. Have you folks looked at the picture? And there is a lot of material. I brought some very simplified material, but have you looked at the picture that goes along with this situation?
This one.
That looks awful distant. It might be my picture, but no, that's not a picture I brought.
There's lots of.
All right, hold on.
Are we talking about the picture
Oh,
of the
okay,
pipe
here we
or the
go.
picture of the street?
Yeah, well, it's a both thing. So can I give you guys the materials?
Yeah.
Sure,
Is
of
that
course,
allowed and
absolutely.
so forth? So it's actually the second page
Okay.
is the photo. that I'm
Yeah, it's a little bit larger than what we have. Okay.
Yeah. So from this angle, I'm in the house to the right in this picture. You can see just a little bit of my grass. That pink flag is where the leak happened. You can see the color of the asphalt. You can see where they ran the new.
You come back to the.
Oh, sure.
Because everything gets recorded and published for
Okay.
everyone.
Yeah, so you can see where they trenched up, from the street and then into the yard. What you can't see is this is a really interesting thing. The little black box at the bottom is our meter box. My neighbor's meter and my meter is in there. Strangely, my line does not exit that meter box and go onto my property directly. It goes to the left, further into my neighbor's yard, and then loops in front meaning towards the street, so it's there in that trench. The line, it's on my side of the meter, okay, but it looped right in front. My contention is, and I think it's really clear, that crew who dug that trench gouged my line. So this is why I say, hey, we own full responsibility. You were gracious to give me relief on the stuff in the summer. This one I feel very differently about. I feel that this is not our responsibility. The crew who dug this line dug in the trench, gouged our line. So what I'm asking for there is, relief of the, I don't know what the proper word would be. I think I called it overbilled water.
The total expense, basically.
Yeah, so
The
two
repair
pieces,
plus-
the repair, which isn't the big piece, $15,000 of, something water and $225 of repair costs.
It says here that there was $11,000 of relief already given.
Right. Right, and so the reason I'm here is that wasn't, we weren't satisfied with that. That felt like hey, property owner, you had a problem past your meter. It's your problem. We're being nice to you by giving you relief on this. Our view was this wasn't a problem caused by us. And that's
is this
why.
picture a blow up of this picture? I'm trying to understand which pipe we're looking at.
I'm not
So
sure
what is
that
this-
either of those two pictures are mine. That might be Johnny Coronado who took. Might be. I don't remember for sure. But Johnny was the one who showed me this leak.
Okay, and he showed you the leak, and it was in the area in front of the meter box, between the meter box and the street.
Right there
Not-
where the pink flag is.
That's where Johnny said the leak was. I'm just
well,
asking.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't
said
talk
it,
to Jen.
Yeah, and there it was.
Okay,
Yeah. And
so we're presuming that that's what I was trying to figure out. If this is the same.
They don't, the water, the paving on the road doesn't look the same.
So it looks a little different, right? I just
Yeah.
trying to figure out. And so, I know everyone's kind of absorbing
sure.
all of this. The challenge that and I'm opening it up to council, to commission. I'm also opening it up to Phil. We're still somewhat restricted in what we can do, which is to say, if we agree that we will address the time period question, which
Mhm.
is of the November, December, January of 24 to 25 area, timeframe,
Mhm.
we can look at that and say, we can see your water usage and we can charge you the wholesale plus 10%. That's pretty much the only thing we're permitted to do unless I'm,
Well, we can also make recommendations. to
we can
the
send it
council.
back to city
Yeah.
council and say that we made a recommendation, and then they would basically go through the same process.
Yeah. I'm not sure how relevant it is, but just a matter on, or a point on this, the timing of things. We submitted, and I think it's on the date of
There's a
page
history,
one.
that's why I'm saying, there's a
Okay.
history of this, so
Yeah.
it wasn't as if you waited a year and came in.
Right.
There's
Oh, I see,
emails
it's
going
not on
back
this.
for
The date is
months.
not on this front page, but if I remember correctly, it was February 6th.
Yeah, so that's right after.
So it
you
was
got
pretty
the
quick.
Astounding bill.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Correct.
So that's reasonable.
Alan or anyone, is the difference between the 11,000 relief given, and the 15,000 billed amount, is that the wholesale plus 10% difference?
Yes, so his his balance ended up being close to 4,000.
But that's what that's the
The
wholesale plus
11,000, yes.
10%, okay. Just to be clear, as we
Well, I
are
don't know where that came from
stipulating,
as well, agreed.
as we are, stipulating what we do and do not have the
that
purview
makes
to
great
do
sense to me. I was
based on-
curious as soon as I heard the wholesale plus 10%, if that's what it was.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so the issue is not, with the amount per se as per the stated rules of what the city can and cannot do on leaks. The issue is, whether the responsibility lies at all with the homeowner. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we're
Is the
trying to
question-
determine the cause of the leak,
Yes,
right? So we have, obviously a homeowner says, we don't think we were the cause of the leak. And then we have the city, us two, saying, we don't know. Now, Johnny made some notes here, say he located the leak. And wrote on January 17th, per Johnny, water line was punctured with a sign.
With a sign?
I mean, that's what it says. I don't know what that,
Well, it was punctured in some way.
and the
Well,
only
no,
other,
it wasn't actually punctured. I may still have the piece. It's an extremely smooth grind on this thing. It wasn't a fracture.
Oh, okay. So when
Yeah,
they-
and by the way, one other thing, I don't, well, there probably, these details may be in the total materials that I delivered earlier. The leak continued to grow and accelerate over
This
time,
is a
so it wasn't
PVC
just,
pipe, isn't that right?
yeah,
Looks
it's PVC.
okay.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, so I can bring that piece in.
well, there are photos of the pipe
Yeah, there's photos of
here.
Are there photos of the,
Well, that's the thing, I don't know
Smooth little
what
grind
what
into the
piece I'm
pipe?
looking at.
These are the photos of the pipe that we have. This one,
can you blow that up?
Yeah, it's
I'd
on
recognize
page
it.
24 of our packet.
that one's blown up on page 25, which, you know, I
25.
guess is
Yeah, that's
a
the smooth,
puncture.
it's
that
it's a tool that ground into it. It's not a,
Well, there appears to be 2 Mars on it in perpendicular directions,
where's the other one?
there
Oh,
Too many
and here.
pages.
yeah.
So it's not a thing, it looks like there are 2 points of damage. One, which is the smooth one that you're talking about, does not appear to have punctured the pipe. It is the one below it. If this photo is accurate, that appears to be an indentation or a groove, but that appears to be where the breakage is.
And the picture that was on our desks when we came in, this is the picture from the other day. So the only other picture that was here is, and we were looking at this, is that there's also what looks like a construction fence, the short black silt fence, very close to the same area. And I don't know, problem is I have no idea exactly when the date of, admittedly, we don't know the date of the picture.
That was the
it would-
24th. I mean, 2024.
It's sometime in
December,
'24. there was a construction fence there.
That was
Yeah, it was
the
in
crew that was
December.
putting in the electronic meters?
Well, I don't know this. Well, the silt fence, I don't know who
Wouldn't be
installed.
the crews. They're not putting those up when they do the meters.
May I see your photo?
Sure, I think that was just taken from.
That's from Google.
And do I see it right? That's it, up here?
Yeah, if it's harder, it was. It's yeah, allegedly.
I can try to pull up that picture.
Sure.
That'd be good.
But also, we're apparently there's two breaks in potentially two areas or one or two areas of the same pipe that seem to have a break in it.
Yes.
Has
They connect, and I don't remember the other one. To me, it's all one
okay.
Well,
piece, and
what-
I think the horizontal fracture is just stems off of the
Yeah, that's this
smooth groove.
picture.
Well,
right?
they don't- That would be strange from a cutting element, which would go in one
When
direction.
Johnny went to look at
To
it, it
have
was
a
there, wasn't it?
perfectly
It was in-
But it's not
perpendicular
in these pictures.
cut would be
Oh, because we don't know when these.
unusual.
So, yeah, but that's a close-up.
Yeah, right.
My point would be that the
This
tool
even
that we
looks
ground
like-
into it,
this is
we
the-
weakened it
Is this?
such that.
They must have cut this, right? Because there's no.
No line here.
Yeah, so this is after that was done. Whatever trenching was done. This picture is before it, and this has to be after it, because you can see this is not in the road in this picture, but it is in the road in this picture. Okay.
By the way,
Yeah.
a quick comment. So you see the silt fence back there.
Yeah.
This line you see there also, and if you can make that out.
Where it says the meter. Yeah, yes, the inside of the here. Oh, is that where you're saying the leak was?
Correct. I'll show you.
Not along the line, because
The
it's
silt-
because it
silt
says
fence is-
leaking, and that's why I was
What
trying.
I'm saying is this line. So there's a silt fence
Yep.
out there. This is this metal here.
Understood.
Right.
Okay.
That's the end of.
Okay,
Their
okay,
yard is
gotcha.
sort of, not grass, and ours is.
So it looks like the silt fence is to the left of the area of the break, although on the
How
photo.
long was the water running?
Well, that's another. This is a lot of water, right? What, 100,000?
That was for a whole month.
It was leaking for a whole month?
It started with the 2 digits, and then it went to 3, and then, in the thousands.
Do we know if at any time the contractors were asked about this,
Yes.
and what?
And,
Obviously, what did they say?
they did say that they were working on Nixon, Pleasant, and Pickwick. Nixon, Pleasant for storm, and Pickwick for water.
We had a contractor put in the electronic meters, right?
Yes, but that was before, because they were put in June, July.
June, July.
Oh, okay. So the meter went in June.
Correct.
So,
And this cut in the street that's been patched, is that a replaced water line? Is that what they're doing?
Yeah, I mean, that was Rolling Wood Crews it runs all the way up. Our street is Christie Drive, runs up Christie
This is part of
Drive
our
to
capital
connect to
improvement.
Ashworth. It was water line
We're
that
doing
run
this
to
is the
our
current-
meter, yeah.
Current,
So,
Yeah.
I have a question. If I look at these different photos, starting on page 18 of our packet, it shows, on the page 18 on the top left-hand corner photo, the grass on the to the left of the meter is not displaced at all. But then to the right, there's a whole big chunk of grass out. On page 21, it's a different
thanks.
small amount, and the grass that is displaced is right there by the broken pipe. And I don't know that that is where they entered to connect the water meter. And when
I can address that
the
for you.
differences between the the grass being intact on the one photo and what the time difference is or what the timeline was?
Yeah, I can address that for you. Can I look at your photo to make sure that she's showing me the same one?
Sure, it's in the, because we have this one where there's, you know, the
Yeah.
grass is all there, then this one where there's a
Right,
big
so
chunk
this
out.
is, I dug this in order to separate enough pipe to be able to rejoin pipe. So
Okay, and when did you dig that?
whatever day the repair was.
This was
done.
for the repair work.
Yeah, that's correct. So presumably the same day Johnny showed me the leak, I think, is the day we fixed the leak. Either that or day after. Anyway, it was obviously an urgent situation, so but that dig over there, that's me.
Is that Magic Matt's home solution? Or
Yeah.
He's the one who fixed the leak.
Well, we did it together. I dug the hole, and yeah, he.
Okay, so that would have been a repair that was done in February.
No,
This is January
it's
20.
roundabout January 20. Yeah.
And the daily water difference, you said when you were looking per day, when did that, what date did the leak stop on?
Are you asking?
Did the leak
Af-
start?
After, after January 20th?
Oh, did the leak stop?
Yeah.
Veronica, you have an email in here, right, that says we now show from Ion Water that there's no constant daily consumption, right? And that was,
So it looks like it stopped on January 20th.
Okay, so that was the dig day.
And it looked like it started on December 20th.
Both of those sound right to me.
Yeah, and, okay, so then my next question is, it said in here that the property was signed up for Ion Water in November of '24?
I believe so, was signed up after the fact. And then the leak alerts was afterwards.
Well, if it was '24, then that would have been before the leak, cause this was January
Correct.
'25.
Yes, ma'am.
So you had Ion Water before this big leak, not the first leak, but the second leak.
Sounds like it.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
per what you're saying.
as per standard practice, were alerts given
Well,
on,
because he was not set up for the leak alerts. He was only set
and
up
this
for
is all
Ion Water.
prior to the change that
Yes.
we made requiring you to be signed
Leak
up.
yeah,
alert.
I'm just trying
Yes,
to find out
yeah, absolutely, that's correct. They weren't signed up for leak
discovery
alerts.
on,
Yep.
because there was a question asked of, you know, this went on for
A month.
weeks and why did
Yep.
nobody notice
Yep.
it? So I was just
Yep.
trying to get the finer details on that to understand that question.
Yeah, so looking at the hourly flows, it looks like, about 8 o'clock on the 20th, or maybe a little bit earlier. It looks like about 6 in the morning on the 20th, 6 or 7. It really started, the flow rate really jumped up.
Okay, but the,
And then,
well, that's on the
and then
20th
it just
of which month?
December.
December, yeah.
And then it just slowly gets, the flow rate gets higher and higher and higher as you go on. You know, it shows that the
Consistent with the
flow jumps from
I'm trying to find, oh, here we go, it's down there.
like 1.3 gallons a minute at, well, I don't know if that's gallons a minute, but 1.3 at 6 o'clock on December 20th, and then jumps up to 7.6 at 7 o'clock, 9.3 at 8, 10.4 at 9, and then 41 at 10 o'clock. Now it drops back down a little bit, but then the rest of the time it never gets below.
Yeah,
35
the fluctuations
or
are
so.
kind of odd, right? 'Cause you
It
wonder-
is, because I'm also, if I look at those charts, there were 5 days in November where it was super high. And,
Well, but nothing like the end of 10
No,
days.
nothing like that, but I'm
700
looking
gallons
to
a day.
understand like where, when and where fluctuations, because we're not, we can only water one day a week, so it wouldn't be watering.
So the question I have is,
1,000
when,
gallons.
Because
when
it
was,
was 1,200 gallons on a couple of those days in November.
so the question I have is, when would there have been a contractor out there around on December 20th? Or, I mean, I understand that maybe somehow a line could get hit and it really doesn't start leaking right away. But I think that's the question, is was there a contractor out there sometime around December 20th?
Oh, for ours or the water contractor?
Any contractor.
Any contractor?
Well, there wasn't for us. We didn't have, I'm sure of that. The city of Rollingwood contractors who dug that line, I wasn't tracking the dates, of course, at the time, but they dug that whole street up twice. I thought we're done, came back some weeks later, and I think both of those were in November, December timeframe.
The only one that's applicable is the one that would go to the meter, because when they dig the rest of the street up, that wouldn't.
No, I understand that, and that's what I mean. They ran all the way to the meter. The street was, 3 feet deep in a long trench twice, all the way up to the meter.
My understanding, I'm not trying to be argumentative, I'm trying to understand, is, because I've just watched this on my street too.
Yeah.
The first ones they do are the main lines and not individual meter connections, certainly not ones by the box.
Yeah, I don't know, when I
And
said
then
in
when
the
they
street,
come
I don't
back,
know if.
they do the individual per house meter connection.
Mhm.
So, they would have only been near your meter one day.
So the
No,
one on
I mean, they ran that line, like if those photos that have the long stretch of darker asphalt through the circle of the cul-de-sac, that long line up to the curb was
Yes,
dug
but-
out twice.
Correct, but they're not, but the pipe that you're showing,
You mean into the yard? I don't recall that. All
Right,
I'm speaking of
they
is
would've
in
only-
the street.
absolutely, but the pipe that we're talking about
Yeah, I
is in
understand.
your yard.
Sure.
So it would be more informative to know which day they connected
Hmm.
your water line.
Right.
That would be very helpful to this whole discussion as to who owns responsibility and when exactly that might have happened.
Right.
Because it would only be one day.
I mean, that's the challenges that we've tried to address by not going back too far, because now we're sitting here in hindsight trying to figure out what happened in
Yeah.
December of
Right.
24. And I don't, the city isn't saying, we're not the city, but the city isn't telling us, we know that either the water CIP contractor was out there or someone else was out there on that street, on that month.
on that day,
in
or
that
sometime
area,
around
which
the
I think
20th?
we should be able to figure out. I mean, someone should know.
Right, that's what I'm asking. Do we know with our contractor what day they connected water lines on that street?
On that meter, yeah.
So we have an email here from Brian Gowdy. He is the project manager of AO Services. And it says that from December 23rd to January 23rd, the team was working on Nixon and Pleasant for storm-related work and also on Pickwick for water-related work. And then they did not work from December 23rd, 2024 to January 2nd, 2025 due to the holiday shutdown. That's the information that we have from Mr. Gowdy.
Do we know when they were working in this
On
area?
Christie.
Yeah, on Christie.
I don't have that information. Veronica, do we have that information?
That would be the question.
Yeah.
When did they connect those water lines? I mean, that would sort of help us with a more definitive.
I mean, it
Half.
starts, the 27th is kind of when things really kick into gear and beyond.
And they
The
were not,
water flow, you mean?
The water flow.
and they were not working there then. But still, to
It could break slowly over
right,
time.
to have the correct assessment, it would be really helpful to know in terms of, was it the city's responsibility or was it something else in a continuum? What day the city touched that line would be helpful to know.
I've always thought so too.
Is there any someone figure out who was over in that street around that time? I don't know how
Or
else to.
when they were over on that street.
Because there was
in
work
Christie.
done
Yeah.
specifically in that cul-de-sac, right? We see the pavement is changed in those pictures, so there was right to that corner. So I feel like it would be helpful for us to understand the time frame of that work for us, I think, and I don't want to speak for to feel comfortable understanding that there's a causation, right, and a relationship between those two things, and then moving forward from there. Is that fair that we'll ask the city to just look into that, get us back to us, and
Yep.
put it on the docket for the next, just so we can make a determination based on
That
some more
sounds right to
information?
me.
Okay.
I'm really kind of trying to figure out what's going on here. This is a long period of time to have a water leakage.
The main, it's like, it's from the 27th to the 15th.
But if you look even starting on the 20th, it goes up
Yes,
a little bit,
earlier.
and then it never goes back down.
Yeah.
It's like
Is
there's
it-
always flow.
Is it because there was only a brief period of time in which there was enough water volume to be seen?
I don't know, but
No,
it
it's
continues
for
to,
the whole month.
between the 20th and the 27th, it still kind of continually gets
So it's
higher
that's an
flow,
interesting
and then
point
there's,
when
you're
you-
right.
I mean, I'm
There's a
still
big
trying to
jump.
figure out why
You're
somebody
right, though,
didn't
there's a
say,
big jump on
hey,
that.
I don't know
there's
how
water
someone
coming
must
out of
have
here.
flooded out.
Well,
with
the
this much
water goes straight down
Straight
to
down.
the Edwards Aquifer. It doesn't run out on the ground. That's why it's a perfect resupply.
Depends, I had one
But-
and it
but in
soaked
this-
the ground all around mine.
Okay,
Yeah.
I
It
mean,
depends.
But this was down at in the drainage area, actually.
well, I had a leak
Well,
on
the break wasn't, because the break was up by the water meter. That's where the pipe was broken. So you would have seen that
I'm
earth,
not sure of that.
potentially,
Yeah,
with that amount of
yeah.
water. I mean, it did with
Well-
me, so, but topography's different everywhere.
Are we
least-
okay
At
waiting?
least the ground around that area should have been muddy. I mean, so there should have been some indication of a water flow. And the other question I have is, are there any systems that we have in the city that tell us that there's an unusual amount of water flow occurring at any period of time for any of our customers?
Well, that's Ion Water, which is now set up. But if we weren't looking at individual meters on Ion Water, well, I guess we do, don't we? Or we do now, I should say.
Yeah, we do now.
Individual, you will track aberrations in bills individually
Correct.
now.
Yes.
But I don't know if we were doing
Is that because we didn't have the capability before and we do now, or what's the difference?
Well, now it's because of the ion water, the system that I use, Beacon, and it does show me whoever has continuous water usage.
We've only been doing that for a couple of months now, right? Or, cause I thought, or has it been a while? So is there a reason why you didn't see this aberration of usage at the time? Well, I guess it would have been a month.
Because it's only a month.
We caught it the month after. We
No,
would've
I mean, we don't have anything in a computer system
At the
that
time,
monitors flow for the individual residents where we could say, something's wrong here.
Not on a daily basis. We look at the monthly bills and then we'll say, hey, you had a.
Well, I wouldn't
I
think.
mean, we
on a
do
day-
now with ion water.
Right.
and
The individuals do. I don't know if the
notifications.
city is looking
Yeah.
at individuals.
I mean, we don't have ticklers on individual, everybody's account, like, oh, there's a weird thing happening.
individual, it does show an individual.
Yeah,
I
you,
know it does,
Uh-huh.
but we don't have a tickler that's like flagging up to you to say,
Oh,
hey, something's going on over at
Correct.
2416
No, only
Pickwick."
the
Correct.
homeowner.
no, but I
Yeah.
recall in a
But
previous
yes,
meeting,
the homeowner can set that up.
you
Right.
said
Well,
that
there's a
you get,
computer monitoring all this, right?
but you also get it on a regular basis. I don't know the frequency, but you'll get like, the top 6 that are
yes.
consumption on it, so there is an
On a
alert
daily or
system.
monthly.
That's the time frame, I don't know. Do you get that daily? Do you get it weekly? Do you get it monthly?
That's on a daily basis, but it doesn't, like, there's no big alarm to notify me to tell me this person is so-and-so, has high water usage.
So what
I
you're saying
can
is it wasn't being monitored, right?
Here's an interesting thing. I got an email from you, Veronica, on January 15th. You were talking about the previous leak adjustment request that I had submitted, and you said, hey, ion water, and it still shows constant water usage. So that sent me outside to look at the meter, and that's the only time it's the only time any of us saw that water. I went out there to look at my meter and see, how could that really be the case? And I can't get to my meter because it's deep in water.
So at that time, you could see the water.
When I tried to, open the box and it's full of water. Yeah. I don't remember if I saw the water, say, before I flipped open the box or not. I mean, the pipe is a good ways buried in the dirt. I don't know if it made it up to the surface there or not. That's just not clear in my memory.
It seems like it'd be helpful for us to have a little bit more information
Right.
about what's happening in the street around the time, and then we'll try to make a determination what we think is fair. So we're going to table this until
Okay.
the next meeting, and if we get, assuming we get some more information, we'll address it then, and we'll let you know when that'll be back on. I mean, it should be on for the next month. So
Well, I was asking the questions because it seemed like to me if we weren't monitoring certain reports for specific purposes, that the computer, it sounded like the computer's giving us the data we need to see unusual usage. And the question is, how do we monitor that? Or should we be monitoring that?
Well, we have the capacity for individual residents. That's because it's on their property and it is their responsibility. We have the capacity to have an alert immediately. Like, I received them when I had a water alert. I got an alert that day that said, you're leaking water. And so alerts are available. The issue here is that this account was not signed up for those alerts.
At the time.
At the time.
Right.
So it was available and there was a system. It just,
the burden is on the resident
Didn't
ultimately, right? Is on the homeowner, but the city does have the capacity. So if we don't have someone who just watches every single day to watch for
right.
water use.
I mean, this is the first I've known that you have to notify the city if you want to be told that there's unusual usage.
It's through the app itself. You set up exactly what sensitivity you want, a half a gallon an hour, and if it goes above that, it'll tell you that you had usage above.
And in our last meeting, we aligned with city council to put out there that, you need to be signed up for this. And we've put out PSAs about it, and we've put
Right.
it on water bills to remind people to sign up for it. Like, we have put the information everywhere that we can to get
Yep.
people to participate in it.
I'm sorry, my wife takes care of it.
Well, if you're on the commission, you gotta do that one.
Yeah,
So we're still working on
she
it.
doesn't
Yeah,
trust
I
me.
understand.
So I don't think we need to make any sort of. We'll just table it until next week, or next meeting, and we'll try to
It's
look at some
this,
additional
it's
information to help
this
us out. So thank you very much for
That
coming in.
everyone has, and you can literally.
Thanks to
see
you
the
too. You
consumption.
guys work
I don't
hard
have
on it.
Hopefully your wife does. Somebody needs to in your house because,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm just
Good night, y'all.
Good night.
good night, thank you.
I'm just thrilled there's such a thing available.
So we're going to
So when you see
move
that
on
at
to
the
the
top,
next
Wait a minute,
item,
where
which
do you download
is
that from?
the
The app.
cell phone cellular service.
Jackson and you leave and set you.
All right, I lost my agenda because
It'll
there's
take 2 minutes.
98
Is it
pages.
rolling with water or what is
It's
it?
called Eye on Water.
I have water.
Discussion on possible improvements to cellular service is the next item. And I think there was an article or reference to an email about a group that's helping in San Antonio. So
I'm sorry, what were you saying about San Antonio?
So there's a at the end of your packet there's an email referencing a company that is working with towns in San Antonio to help them improve cellular service within their neighborhoods. And Michaela stepped out, but I'm assuming this was shared to if we want to.
I might be able to answer some of the questions. I think I'm.
Well, so maybe is this something we want to look into and get some more information on, and then present it either to commission or one person look at it and see what's up? Is that?
I will note, so relatively recently, I think since the Utility Commission last met, I got cold called by T-Mobile. T-Mobile wanted us to switch to their services. So I was very frank about the quality of service we get from any provider in the city of Rolling Wood. I know topography is a big factor there. T-Mobile's position is really based on how, population density, Rollingwood's relatively sparse. The topography works against it, and they said, quite frankly, within the next year to year and a half, most of those sparse areas and populated areas will end up having satellite connections. So they said they'd entertain putting in boosters if the city were to pay for it, but they said it's probably no point, because when you get in the shadow of the hill, because they showed us a very granular map, more than a regular customer would see, of where they saw their signal strength, and you could just see the shadows of the hills, like this hill right here. You could see the shadow of the hill with the signal strength. And so, personally, I'm a T-Mobile customer. Right now, my phone is normally in satellite SOS mode. Literally, unless I'm hooked up to the Wi-Fi, I get no signal at all in City Hall. They're aware of it, but because it's so sparsely populated, it's not a good business case for them. We could certainly reach out to this company if that's something the Utility Commission
I would
recommends, but I think this is a
I would maybe
Riverwalk.
push back a little bit on the T-Mobile feedback, because when you're driving down Rollingwood Drive, which is not one of our valleys, literally from the stop sign at Gentry until you're almost down at Almerian, that's a dead spot. Whether you're on T-Mobile, whether you're on Verizon, like calls drop.
Yeah, this is the dead spot, right?
No, but it's all the way up. It's not down here in the valley. It's on Rollingwood Drive.
I know on Rollingwood Drive, my phone,
Yeah.
I get signal on T-Mobile the whole way along Rollingwood Drive, but I don't get it until I get to the top of the hill right at the intersection of Gentry. On Gentry, I don't get it, so I know I'm not going to, when I'm driving home, I don't call my wife until I get to Rollingwood Drive.
Right, but it continues all the way at that high point to about Almerian on Rollingwood Drive, not down here, but up there. And that is,
Where
Yeah.
is up there? I'm sorry.
right there.
Like on Rollingwood Drive in front of the park. But I mean, I get
Yeah,
signal
really
there, but I mean, it's
after
certainly
Wallace,
patchy.
Yeah.
Assuming after Wallace, the crust of that hill.
Yes.
That's what she's talking
Were they implying that technology is going to evolve in the next year or so that this will be irrelevant? Or people are going to switch to satellite services?
No, the impression that I got is that they would use it supplementarily to for those kind of dead spots, the things that they're aware where it didn't make sense on the ground to do it. So it wouldn't be switching entirely; it'd be more supplemented as necessary, kind of like you have Wi-Fi call boosting now.
See, their last input was because, this started when they used to have these towers that rung the city, and there was one on Walls Tarleton, and that helped everyone in Rollingwood and Westlake Hills and Tremont and so forth. And they decommissioned those because they were putting smaller ones on top of businesses, etc., which was a revenue generation and self-serving in smaller individual areas. But that doesn't help residentially.
Yep.
And we don't have a commercial corridor that stretches that carries that for residents. And so the pushback from them is because to give us better service would not necessarily be a revenue generator for them.
I really don't understand the problem. I guess I don't understand the problem because I've been with T-Mobile 22 years. And all 22 years I lived in Rollingwood. I don't think I can remember a time when I had a drop call driving around in my car or in my house or anywhere else. Now, I made the foolish mistake a while back, about 2 years ago, of taking on T-Mobile's internet service. And I never could make it work. I've struggled with it for 6 months, and I went and told them something's wrong. I can't make it consistently work. And they said, well, they looked on their system and they said, well, you're not in an area where you ought to be able to get internet service. And I said, why did you give it to me? And so they gave me part of my money back for that 6 months. But and I'm curious for that reason. What's the status of the situation right now with the internet systems? I mean, we got AT&T and we got the new system, fiber system. And what's the status of that?
Google Fiber status?
Yeah.
I believe, everything's been run throughout the city, so I believe they're just in the process of selling to the individual customers to run the lines up from the street. So all the work and
They
the
already
rights of
should've
way have
gotten
already
about
been
3
done.
things in your mail. in the
Some are
last-
At least 3
So
things
they're
were done,
ready-
I'm sure.
they're-
People
they're
are
ready
using
to
it,
connect
so-
service.
Yeah, so they're ready.
Yeah, they
Google
are.
Fiber is all up and running. It's just
Yeah.
ready to connect services, but they're done with the rights of way.
Well, AT&T is not bad, but it's not Google Fiber. I mean,
Yeah,
I-
unfortunately, the city, that's an individual customer contract thing, so our job is done
Exactly. The
here
city's part is
with-
done.
With with the Google Fiber things, we're kind of done here, but the cell reception remains
This may be
a
worth
significant
following up
issue,
on, is all I'm
and
saying.
and gets
Right.
worse, you know, whenever there's
Is it?
ACL or la la la.
Yeah.
Right.
Is there someone that can reach out and see if there's something, do they come do a presentation? I mean, it's worth.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can certainly
Sure,
give it a
let's
go.
see if they
I'm
can
sure
do
the
something.
Riverwalk is dissimilar to Rollingwood, but we can most certainly ask if they'd be interested
You
as
know?
well.
And would the city of Rollingwood have any objection to having, you know, a micro tower on this building?
I'm sure it'd be a policy decision for council.
Okay. So,
well, I think,
I would love to
go ahead.
have that as the next part of our discussion, what those capabilities may be.
So if
Send the question to, Counselor, whomever the
T-Mobile
appropriate
offered to
time.
sell us boosters, is that right?
Yes, that there are boosters that they
Yes.
can deploy, but it's not cost
And they
effective
don't.
for them to deploy them.
yeah.
yeah, and the
They're not-
individual ones they give
they
you in
don't-
your home
they
do
don't
not
do anything.
function because they have to pull a signal from somewhere else.
It's easier to do
We've-
Wi-Fi calling
we've-
than beyond.
Right.
Right.
When you're home. It's just
Right.
when you're
It's-
going through town or whatever. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. So we'll keep this live. We'll see if we get some more information on this company, and we can talk about having council maybe opine
Yeah.
on if it's an issue. Okay. Cool.
So you'd like this to come back to the utility commission before we have council opine on it, or would you like it to go to council kind of in parallel with the commission doing its work?
I think I'd like to. Might as well have Toro if this company's interested, have them come talk to us, just with regard to council hearing about putting something on this building. Is that maybe that can go to them?
Yes, sir, we can do it.
Okay, perfect. I know we talked about adding some items to, but we might have missed one. So if you want to quickly review outside of what we just discussed, there was the water report, and when that comes in, we'll set up a time to do the presentation to the commission. And there
Update on the water,
Right,
Oh,
on
the
the
CIP.
CIP project.
Yes. CIP.
We'll have that for you next time, yes, sir.
and a
then you'd have
subset in
the-
that question, going back, I tried to look for it briefly, but it only occurred to me about 10 minutes before the meeting, so perhaps I could do a little more due diligence, or if it's not available easily, the question would go to you. When we did that, if recollection serves me correctly, $5.4 million bond for the water improvements, was the cost of repaving the roads included as part of the water repair and improvements? Because I now see that we have another tax election for some pretty substantive street paving costs.
The street maintenance sales tax election, yes.
Yeah, and I'm trying to understand how much more street paving there would be in the next calendar year on top of what we're doing for the water line repairs if the paving had already been budgeted into the cost of that project.
Right. My understanding, and I can double check it to make sure that I'm speaking correctly, my understanding is the repaving was part of the cost because there'd be such damage to the street. The street maintenance sales tax election is a reauthorization or a request for the reauthorization of that portion of the sales tax being directly allocated for
Correct,
street
but-
repair.
But as it is detailed out, the budgeted amount for those street repairs is significantly higher, double or more than what we've ever spent on street repairs on a calendar basis, which caught my attention and made me wonder why do we have twice as many street repairs if we already have a separate pot of money that's budgeting doing repaving for a good portion of the city? I didn't understand that.
Yeah, so we do have a separate pile of money from it that gets reimbursed through the street maintenance sales tax. So it's a transfer internally on the books. So like for the current fiscal year that just started a few days ago, council approved $500,000 worth of street paving, and that would become a direct transfer out of the street maintenance sales tax revenue. So it would be just transferred to kind of reimburse the general fund as we go. So it is earmarked for that purpose, and it would be
I understand
transferred across.
the
Okay.
process. What I didn't
Sure.
understand was why it would be in this next election double or more the amount that is budgeted for, given that we should actually have less road paving cost if we had road paving cost already built into the bond separately, which has done so many streets in Rolling Wood. So I didn't understand why we would need twice the road paving budget in addition to that next year.
Okay.
That-
I mean, they are different projects. So the paving projects are different than the repaving after a water project.
That's the answer to my question.
Yes. Yeah,
Now
the
I
water
understand.
project is one thing that incidentally involves repaving certain streets. The
That was my question, is
right.
the repaving of surface streets
Yes,
proposed
sorry, I wasn't
in,
quite.
in the bond?
Yes, and I can check on that, and I'm 99% certain the answer is yes. The other pot of money that comes from the street maintenance sales tax, that is going to be primarily the first street we'll be doing is Hadley. That's the one that's identified in the pavement priorities plan that the city adopted a couple of years ago. So it'll mostly be Hadley because that's the least, I guess, the
Perfect.
one that's most damaged within the city.
I appreciate the extra detail. I don't know whether that is the purview of this commission. I know the water bond amount in the repavement was part of ours. I don't know if that is or not, and if it
Well, I
is
think
not,
damage to infrastructure
feel
caused by
free-
utility work is probably the purview of the utility commission.
And I don't think I'm contradicting anything Alan said, but my understanding from being on the council is that the streets that were dug up to do the water, that is included.
Mhm.
And while we were doing that, we thought that a lot of the other streets had gone into a degree of disrepair, and there is a degree of economy of scale if we repave and make all of Rolling Wood nice all at once.
Clear, rather than
while
patching.
We're at it,
Okay.
So-
and we have the crews out and all that sort of thing. So in addition to what is going to be covered by water, and I even think Google is even kicking it a little, then we are going ahead and addressing, because as you know, we've been doing patchwork forever.
Yes, that's the
Okay.
answer. Thank you.
Yeah. And the amount of large trucks going over our streets in order to build big houses and everything else that goes on also causes our roads to degrade much more quickly. But so that's
And we're in Texas.
why we're doing all that. Yeah.
Yep.
So
Appreciate it.
yeah.
If
And
there is,
if any of that's incorrect, then please say no, Councilman.
No, boss, that sounds
There's
good.
Nothing we say.
No, that is absolutely correct.
He knows not what he speaks of.
It is correct.
So, okay.
Yeah,
if there's
I just-
nothing
yeah, all you have to do is
else,
click that you can,
we
that you
will
want it,
adjourn.
and then I'm
Thank
sure
you.
there's